Hello friends, my name is Treebiggest and welcome to Transport Fever 2. Now, Transport Fever 2 is for many people just a public transport system kind of thingy sim, but it has ended up being by far my favorite city building sim game. It will remind you, if you haven't seen this yet, you probably have heard of this game since you are clicking on this video, so you know what this is all about. For the few people who may have stumbled upon this video in your feed or whatever, this is what the game is about. Basically, you have to set up a nice transport empire that will take care of delivering people and goods and food and materials and everything to cities in order for the cities to grow. So in theory, we don't really have anything to do with how the city develops, so it's not really a city builder per se, but you can manipulate a lot of these things. And for this specific reason, because the game just has so many unique features, it has actually ended up becoming my favorite city builder that there ever is. Transport Fever 2 is one of the newest, or is the newest game that has come out in the genre, the old one being Transport Fever. And I have played that one so much, so I was so hyped when I saw the Transport Fever 2 came out. Sad face me, I did not get beta access to Transport Fever 2, so I was one of the ones who had to sit in front of my computer and just wait for the game to actually release. Here it is though, it released. It is freaking amazing. I've just messed around with it a little bit to test it, but not really played it all that much. I want to do that together with you guys, so let's get a great series going here, see what we can do with the game. So I feel like the best place to start is just to remove, even though my pretty face decorate this video so much. Well, that's BS. Let's go ahead and remove me, because we kind of just don't need my face in the way while we do this. And there we are, I am now gone. So first thing we want to do here, if we want to start our own game, I feel like it's go to the map editor, because the map editor is one of the new features of this game. Basically, the map editor allows us to do all sorts of different things. We have temperate, dry, or tropical environment. Besides that, we have vehicles from all over the world: Europe, US, and Asia. Now, we can set some different parameters for our map here. I feel like these are actually some pretty nice settings. A large map, let's go for 1 to 2. We could go for very large as well, but it will be quite heavy because there is a lot going on in this game. It is still a game that has just released, and the devs have a habit, at least with the old game, that they patch the game along the way. So, which is also one of my feelings with the game actually. To some extent, it feels a bit early released, and that is both good and bad. But for now, let's keep it like this. And I'll show you guys along the way what I mean. Here we are on this very, very dull looking map, because there's nothing here yet. It is a map editor, so of course we actually have to edit the map in order to get anything in here. But I will say this much: you have never realized that you needed a good map editor as much as you realize it once you messed around with this map editor, because it is quite literally amazing. It is good for any strategy game that you have ever played. Trust me, you can generate so many nice things here, and that is exactly what we are gonna try to do here for this play that we're gonna do here. There are so many parameters that we can mess around with, and you can see we sort of have the map generation going on whenever we mess up, or not mess up. I mean, that sort of depends on who you ask, I guess. I kind of want to get the mesas down a little bit. Those are the kind of plateau thingy hills that we have there. There's me lacking a better explanation of what it is, but it's those plateau rock thingies, you know them. Then we have ridges, we have water. We can turn down the water here, which should probably give us, yeah, for example, there you go. Now we only have one big river sort of going through the map, and I actually like the idea of having a river going through the map, so I definitely think we should keep that for now. So let's keep that right here, because that means we can actually sail ships up and down on this river. We can go ahead and increase the forest levels here a little bit, which will give us some more greenery. Now, this is for the sharp eye, probably not the map where you would expect the most forest, but that is no issue, because the map developer or the map generator actually takes care of that. There is different environmental objects depending on where you are in the world. Nice, that is really dope. So I think this looks pretty good actually. So we can go ahead now and go to the cities here, and for the towns we can say, how many towns do we want? 35 probably sounds quite all right. So let's click generate here. That should generate, probably, hopefully. We have these towns right here. We have a lot of industries that we can go for as well. What should we go for? 125 industries? That is a lot. How about 100? Just to get a little bit more distance between them. I think that is more realistic. So there we go, generating industries, towns as well. Hopefully, bam, there we go, the map all of a sudden appears. And I think we have some map generation going on here as we speak, actually. I think because these mountain ridges still, yeah, as you can see there, So it's slowly generating the map as soon as we hit that button. And I mean, just look at this. Let's get rid of that. This is indeed some nice looking map action we have got going here. I feel like we could use just a little bit. It's a bit flat still. I mean, these areas are so flat. So why don't we go ahead and see if we can do something about that? If we go for canyons and can we just increase that a little bit? Nah. Okay, let's keep it there then. Just get a little bit more of the canyons in here. I did just give the map editor a good run for its money here, and this is actually what we ended up with, which I think looks amazing. There is a lot of good opportunities here to connect all of these cities with some nice transport, and we can connect all of these businesses, and there's just a lot of good stuff here that we can work with as we get started. So that's really good. I see so many connections and potential in this. So let's just jump straight into the map. The only thing we need to do now is save this and load it as a game, and then we're actually ready to go. Here it is. We are loaded up in our map. I actually, while we scout here for a good place to start, when I wanted to do this series of this game, which I think we will actually do multiple series because it is simply so good. I wanted to do the tropical, which is probably the single-hand biggest change compared to the first game, that we have new areas where we can, or new environments that we can play behind. We have an entire series of Asian vehicles that we can use in like sort of this tropical Asian inspired environment. But when you look up for videos on YouTube on Transport Fever 2 content, then literally 120% or approximately videos are about that specific new tropical vibe map. I did the math myself. You can go count if you don't believe me. Don't worry. I'm an engineer. But yeah, there is just so much on it, and I've never really played the US side of this game, so I felt like this would be just a neat challenge to try, so I think we should do just that. But nevertheless, here we are. This is where we will be taking. We have a lot of cities right here, very close to each other, which I think can actually be a really neat little sort of starting area where we will start our entire adventure. You know what, Los Angeles right here. Why not start from there? That just sounds tempting. So let's go ahead and do just that. We have a pretty annoying mountain there right in front of us, where I would actually love to go that way, but that just makes for a little extra challenge. I think that's very good. So we are indeed gonna go ahead and start here with Los Angeles. The first thing that we want to do is just set up a secure network. These tips are fine, but you'll know most of it if you played the game before. But we want to set up a lot of bus routes here at the beginning just to get a steady flow of income. Basically, we have two different options. We have bus routes to here, we have a train route, or we have a lot of options actually now that I think of it. We can go with a bus to there, we can go with a train, we can do a ship if there is water available. So for example, here for Berkeley, we probably don't want to put in a port right there because that would look very, very weird. But we can go to Bridgeport, for example, and we can connect this port up here, as you can see, bam, and then we can connect another city down this river, and we can actually sail passengers, and then later on we will also get airports. We don't have those right now since we are in 1910. They aren't unlocked yet. There were no planes at this time. I think 1910, that was right about when people experimented with the first planes. Was it the White Brothers or whatever they are called? But yeah, basically no planes yet, so we have a few different options. And besides that, we can also make money off of doing different sorts of goods. For example, we can take this lumber mill right here, or this forest rather, and you can bring the logs over here to this sawmill. There we go. From the sawmill, these things can go into the tools factory, and the tools can then be shipped to Mesa, which is a city that needs tools. Which brings me to the next overlay that I also quickly just want to cover to let you guys know why we do as we do. Basically, as you can see here, there is a supply demand for, or there is a supply and there is a demand for it. So the supplies required are tools and fuel, I guess this is, yep. The demand is 62 and 67. So we can basically see here how much do they demand, and we can try to deliver that. Besides that, we have destinations right here, and basically these are split into two. So public transport will give them available or access to multiple destinations. Now these destinations are calculated as, for example, shops in here or residential buildings. So you know, a destination can be work and a destination can be house. So if we set up a connection here, we will see the destination rise depending on how many houses are here and the city growth and everything, but also workplaces and shops and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things that we can connect, but I feel like the best way to show you guys is actually just by connecting this. So let's try to do just that and see what happens. So I kind of want to start off here with a bus station. Now, where do we want this bus station? Because when I put this here, as you can see, the bus station actually has a catchment area, and the catchment area is marked in white. So if you put it here, for example, we will get quite a big catchment. So that might not be a bad idea at all to put it right here. But depending on what houses we tear down, we also get a different price on it. This is very expensive since we are gonna, you know, have to tell these guys to, yeah, just move out of that house, please. But we can actually just do that with a simple click right here. Or can we? No, apparently I cannot put this down. Righto, there we go. No clue what was going on there, but it is down now nevertheless, which is just fine. As you can see, we have a bus stop here. Now, this entire area is the catchment area, so we pretty much have the entire city. So we don't really need additional bus stops to catch most of Los Angeles. What we can do now then is extend out to all of these cities here. So if you go into the roads here, again, go to streets. Now we can select different country roads here. We want to use the country roads because these are allowing a higher speed limit. So basically, if we go here, and we want to be kind of thoughtful about how we do this, because as you can see, there is a vegetation level here. We could go in here, select the contour levels, and actually see how the contours are like, just to get the best and most efficient, cost-efficient route. For example, we have a nice flat area down through here, so we want to target that area. And if we go this way, then we will sort of ride with the contour lines, which will also keep it cheap. Now, as you can see, this curve becomes a bit more expensive because there is some gradient to it. But if we go along this way, then we can get a long stretch of road for not a lot of money because the ground is a bit more forgiving the way that we go. So we want to always try to keep going along the contour lines in order to keep our costs down while we place the routes, which is nice. So let's go ahead and do that. And you know what? Since we are time is money in this specific example, there we go. 41,000 for that little stretch of route. That is a lot of money, and we are probably gonna regret that soon. But for now, it's fine. Let's go out of this contour view and just try to maybe use the terrain here a bit. There we go. Get that in there. Pull this one all the way up there and connect that route. So now we have a connection to Los Angeles and we have a connection to Laredo, and we can actually also connect Cedar Rapids and Laredo. So let's go ahead and do that. Now for the buildings here, we want additional stops, and let's see if we can squeeze in a stop here without taking down any houses, because that will save us some money. So it's always worth doing if there is a chance to do it. There we go. Get that in there. And get over here, and let's see, do we have any chances to do that here as well? I do not feel like it, but yeah, nah, that's not really gonna give us a good catchment, is it? I think we can maybe try to just bump this down right there. There we go. Only one house deleted, so still a pretty decent, efficient, you know, placement right there for a very nice catchment area. So now that we have all of those down, we only need one thing in order to actually start driving buses on our route, and that will be a road depot. Now the road depots here doesn't really matter where you put it. It does not have to be on a city in order to, you know, function and everything. So we kind of want to just put it here in the middle. That will allow us to get actually, you know what? We're gonna do a lot of trains from Los Angeles, not trains, buses from Los Angeles. So let's put it down here in Los Angeles. Find somewhere where we can put it for cheap. 17,000. Can we go cheaper? Can we go cheaper? There we go. 13,000. Very nice. So let's go ahead and put it there. All we need to do now is just buy a few buses and we should be good. Now, when we buy buses here, as you can see, we have a lot of different options, and I personally prefer to just go for something that is cheap, you know, because we want to get something cheap here at the beginning. We're not going to have a lot of riders at the beginning, so we want to get those that are somewhat cheap. I feel like the Mac here is a good, you know, mix in between 9 capacity, 11,000 a year, 8 capacity, 10,000 a year, and then we go to this one, which is also 8, but it's 16,000 a year. So it does matter what you actually buy. For now, let's get 3 for the first route, which we have not set up. So let's go ahead and set up the route that it's actually going to drive on. Let's press new line, get a line from Los Angeles, do not grab it 2 times, and go to Cedar Rapids. Let's name this line Bus and LA to Cedar R. There we go. Not make the names too long, because then we cannot recognize them later on. We now have these 3. All we have to do is click here, put them into the route, and we pretty much have our first route set up. Now we will need more buses later on because yes, this is somewhat of a long stretch. Since this is somewhat of a long stretch, we are gonna have to have more to fill it out. Otherwise people will be standing here for half a year waiting for a bus. We don't want that. But for now, that is just fine. So let's set up another new line here. And this time go there to Laredo and let's call this bus LA to Laredo. Awesome. Same thing again. Let's buy some buses for this thing. 1, 2, 3. Bam. And once these get some catchment, once people actually start using this, we will buy more buses for it. It's just something you do in steps because you kind of don't want 11 buses driving empty to a city and back again before they actually start functioning. So for now, this is just fine. Let's set up a final line here. There we go. And call this one bus from Laredo to Cedar R. And again, buy a few buses. We could possibly do this in a more efficient way. It's always just a question of, do you want to spend the extra money in order to get more of these road depots, or do you just want to utilize the ones you have? This one is only 11,000, so it is all right for now. Let's go ahead, 1, 2, 3, set those in and get those buses out as well. Now, if I press play here, things should start happening. So let's do that. And as you can see, tiny cities here at the beginning, but we're gonna supply everything we need for the city in order to help them grow. Now, the way that we can actually manipulate this just a bit is when we get further on and we start building like train station and bus stations and make those really big, we can sort of have the city build actually something just built there, because the game by default will place a lot of roads. But what we can do is we can actually go ahead and place a lot of roads in here, whatever way we want them. If we want the city to grow in a specific pattern or in a specific direction, we can sort of, give it a bit of a nudge in the right direction. We cannot directly change the way that the game acts, even though, that would also be, since that's not the main focus. This is not by default a city builder. It's just, it's a public transport builder or a private if you wish, but you can sort of use it as that, because the more you build, the bigger the cities you will get, and that is sort of the biggest reward in my opinion for this game. And also just trying to micromanage all of your lines and keep them profitable and everything, because if I click down here right now, none of these will be profitable because they only just started, so we have only paid the maintenance fees for our buses. But basically we can monitor all of our lines here, and as you can imagine, this will only grow bigger and bigger and bigger. The costs, and these trucks are so loud, I'm sorry about them. Let's just go out a little bit here. If you go to details here, we can actually see the running cost of this bus here is 11,861 per year. Value is decreasing right rapidly. That is not something that is nice to look at, because that is basically just our money draining and draining and draining. But the bus has a running cost, but it will also earn money. So we can monitor here if the bus is profitable, and the line, all in all, we can monitor if it is profitable here. Super cool. We have 3 bus lines set up right now. We kind of want to just get more and more and more along the way. So I think we should go ahead and hook up Colorado Springs over here too. That is our bus route to Colorado Springs set up. And if you look here at Los Angeles, we all at the moment have 129 different public transport destinations that these can go to. Now, if we buy a few buses for this one as well, there we go, set those up and the buses start running. Now with time, we will see this number growing. As you can see there, it slowly just increases with the lines that we actually have set up. And the way that this is calculated is this city is connected to here. So all of these people will have Los Angeles and the different buildings in here as a connection. But since we're also connected to Cedar Rapids and Laredo, then all of the destinations are counted towards that as well. Now this number will grow. It just has to, sort of register the fact that we have actually created a route. But all of this will be connected to Colorado Springs because we have it connected via Los Angeles. So that is really cool, and which is also the reason that I kind of want to try to just start in one city here and then just expand from that, so we always have all of our routes available for everyone. No matter what I will connect Los Angeles to, if we start here, will always be connected in this entire transport network. So that is sort of the goal with the build that we're trying to do here. Now we have a lot of buses coming in here, and we have like a big need for platforms. So what we will actually gonna go ahead and do here is create just a few extra bus terminals. So now we can go into the stations, and we can configure all of these stations are modular, so we can configure them however we want to. if we go to terminals now, you can see we can actually switch all of these around. So I can set that one to terminal 2. So now each of these buses will stop at a different terminal, meaning that there will not be as much queue. If all of them has to stop at the same terminal, they will easily stack up when we add more buses. And I think that's the next thing we should just do here. Let's go ahead and buy 2 extra buses for all of our bus routes here, and that should do the trick. For now, did I assign one to Colorado? What did I do? Okay, so Colorado and Laredo to see that. So give that there, buy 2 more and give those to that one. And let's see, do we have any line that's profitable yet? Nope, not at all. We will get there, guys, no worries, don't stress it. So the fact that we have sort of spread out a little bit here also means that we are now close to a lot of different production facilities. So for example, we have a farm here that produces wheat, and the wheat we can send to a food farm. With that food farm, we can produce food, and we can get that food to a certain place. And that could, for example, be Colorado Springs. And if we get it to Colorado Springs, from there, we can actually help the city grow even more. So next thing I think we should do, also because that will be a huge income for our bank, is that we should set up some sort of industrial transportation. And I think a nice way to start would possibly be to go to Memphis and extend to that. And then from there, use the Memphis Forest and bring that log over to St. Petersburg Sawmill. Alrighty, so we're now connected to Memphis. All we have to do is just to get in yet another of these bus stops. Now we could also go for the regular bus stop here. For example, say we would go ahead and just put in a nice little street in between here, which will be a lot of money. Let's just use a small one, then the city can always upgrade it by itself and we save the money. Then, you know, we could put in a bus stop here and then go for a new line once again. Cedar Rapids to Memphis. There we go. And sometimes they will loop around. They don't do it here because that is probably too long of a way, but it's fine. We'll call this bus Cedar R to Memphis. There we go. That is set up. Now we just need to buy buses for that as well. And let's do another truck stop over here because we will need that when we buy the trucks anyways. So road depot in there. There we go. And I mean, just look at the graphics of this game. This is literally magnificent. So nice city we have going on here. Let's get some buses in that route as well. And then let's start getting some industry as well, because that is at the end of the day where the money lies, especially right now at the stage we are, where we don't really build long trains and everything. But for now, 3 buses, Cedar R to Memphis. So now we have that connected, and Los Angeles should see even more destinations in some time. You can see Colorado has grown to 34, and that number will keep on rising the more passengers that we get traveling and the more the route gets used. But for now, let's hook up to Memphis Forest and St. Petersburg Sawmill. Now the trick for doing this is pretty much the same as with everything else. We just have to connect these 2 roads right here. We don't have to be connected to a city in order to do this, but I think we will do it just since we sort of have this little, you know, we want everything to be connected. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw a little route over here, which also means that we can actually get some trucks out. And let's complete this little line here as well. Try to see if we can keep the cost down a little bit, because we already spent 3 million of our 5 million starting budget. Nice. And then this time, instead of a bus tram station, we need a truck station. So let's go ahead and grab a truck station right here. Put the first one there, and let's move over here. And let's see, can we squeeze one in here? 83, will it be cheaper over here? Ooh, 79, I'll take that. Now, same principle. Bus, there we go. And let's color this logs. And say Memphis. Because it's in Memphis, you know, it makes sense. It all adds up, which is nice. There we go. So now all we need is just to buy a vehicle that can transport all this. So we have a few different options here. We have a steam flatbed truck, and we have a new NW first truck. I think we're gonna go with the steam. Now we're actually gonna go, because they can transport the same amount, but you see this one is 1,400 cheaper per year. So that will definitely be the best buy. I think we're gonna start with 5 here, and then let's just let that line run for a bit until we get a demand going. So the game has just casually been running here for a little bit of time, and as you can see, we already have a lot of logs waiting. We actually have 89, so those 5 trucks will not do it at all. Let's just go ahead and buy some more here immediately, and I'm not gonna be cheap on this one. Let's do 10 already and get those on the route. Early game, you want a lot of trucks. in your builds at all times, because they cannot carry a lot, but the production will still be quite high. The production is not really limited to year, so you know, you just want to get a lot of carriage going. Some of our lines are slowly getting profitable. It takes time. It just takes time, so be patient with it at the beginning. As you can see, one of them here is already 5,500 in plus, which is good. The logs here will be a huge profit soon, so we shouldn't be too worried about the fact that we're not really making any money right now, even though it might seem a bit, you know, sketchy at first. It's gonna be okay. What I think we should do while we wait for that is just hook up Los Angeles to some more cities, because the more the merrier. So let's go ahead and do that. Once again, grab our road tool here. Let's just draw out a lot of roads. There we go. 17,000. That was not really a good option. I think I saw some cheaper ones. 16,000. We have a lot of curvature here, so let's just keep going. 5 for that one. Oh, that is a hefty one. You know what? Then let me show you the trick here, because that is simply because there's a lot of different. There we go, and as you can see, we conform to the terrain here a little bit better, and that just saves us so much money. And then we have a huge drop here as well, so we might want to be just a bit cautious as well. There we go, see if we can hit it a bit on an angle, and there, we saved a lot of money on that one for sure. You know what, let's just utilize the fact that we have some free road right there and go by that oil pumping station. And once again, be careful that we don't spend too much money here. There we go, set up that one. We go down and connect to the city. Awesome. Now that was actually a pretty cheap route considering the, you know, the length of the route. So let's get up another bus stop here. Now where should we put that one? Where should we put that one? Should we just put it in here? I feel like this city is quite big already, so we could actually go ahead and do that. Now the next thing we could also do here for this city is that we can actually make like a sort of city bus route here, which I think we should do, because the catchment is not really fulfilling as much as I wanted it to. So we could actually do two things. We could either have the bus come in and maybe stop here and then drive all the way around. You know what? I think that is a very good idea. So let's go ahead and do that, because that way we don't have to do two bus routes, but we can simply grab the bus tool here and just get the catchment up here as well. So now that when we do the route, we will still start in Los Angeles. Then when we go there and we will go, there we go. So this will be bus LA to McKinney. And all we need to do now is once again get some buses in there. We still want to start with just 3, and then we will add some more later on. So let's see, LA to McKinney. Nice. Now we have a production of lumber here, which I definitely think we should utilize. So since we have all of this connection going, we could go to St. Petersburg, because then we can also make a bus stop from Memphis to St. Petersburg. Or actually we could go to McKinney as well, because McKinney is quite a lot closer and we have a good bus terminal there. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we hook up that way and then over there. So everything is hooked up. The only thing we have to do now is once again set our routes up. So let's start by doing so. Now there we go, Lower McKinney and over to St. Petersburg. So this will be bus McKinney to St. Peter. Awesome. And then next up, we also have to set up our truck route. So that will go from there to there, and this will be lumber Memphis. Right, this was Memphis. Yes, it was. Or actually, this was St. Petersburg. So maybe we should just call that St. Petersburg. St. Peter. And once again, trucks for all of that. Might want to do just another truck stop over here, because that will save us a bit of time with these trucks. Let's see, can we get a nice cheap place? There we go, 10,000, which is pretty much perfect. And grab a few of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And set those for lumber, and grab our buses here again. 1, 2, 3, and that is actually all we can afford, and that's it for our money. So now we just kind of have to cross our fingers and pray that we will hopefully make some money. I'm not sure at the moment, but I really do hope that it happens. Let's see what the earnings are like right now. So one bus route is 74,000 in plus all of a sudden. That is our LA to Laredo line, which is the first line we set up, if I remember correctly. Yes, it is. And so there it is, to Laredo. That one has become profitable, and the rest of them will become profitable. If not, we can actually go ahead and take a loan. Right now, the upper limit for a loan is at 10 million. So we have 5 million to spare in case we need it. And I don't think we should be shy of doing so here at the beginning, because it honestly doesn't matter too much just for now. Let's see, we have some buses here from LA to Colorado, and that is the bus to over here. Still, people take some time to adjust to the fact that there are these lines available here at the beginning. Our log line is slowly becoming profitable here as well, 7,200 plus right now. And besides that, we have the LA to Cedar Rapids, which is also becoming profitable. So all of them are slowly becoming profitable, which is a good thing. Let's just see with the logs here. We still have 110 waiting there, so we can actually, let's go ahead and just borrow 500k. There we go. Buy a nice set of trucks with that. Let's get 5 more for the log run, and I think we need quite a few more for the lumber as well. So, you know, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait, and we have this nifty tool here that where we can say we want 5 trucks. Bam. And we spent all of our money on those trucks, so they better be worth it, which I would be surprised if they are not, frankly. Let's just let it run here for a little bit. Let's just see if we can get the lines profitable before we go, so we don't have to dig ourselves into more depth that we can ever get out of, basically. So while some of these lines are indeed getting more and more profitable, as you can see here, we have, for example, the LA to Laredo is almost hitting 100k. Cedar Rapids to Memphis is already at 42,000, and that one was almost only set up. So you know what, that is also very much time to get some more buses onto that one. I just borrowed a bit more money here. It's just because you'd never want to be short of buses. The more buses you have, as long as the lines are full, the more money you're gonna make, simply. So let's see, do we have any other lines that are full? LA to Cedar Rapids and LA to Laredo are both very full. So let's go to LA and buy a few trucks. Though a couple trucks there, and that was not the one that I wanted to do. So that's just when these line buses come out. If you make that mistake, you can easily set these trucks to a different line. I hope not. You can indeed send them back to the depot. So let's go ahead and do that instead. And flip around, and you flip around, and that bus is now in here. So let's select these two and send you to LA to Laredo instead. That was kind of what we wanted to do. Okay, he's now very confused. There we go. There are some, you know, just some minor defects about this game sometimes, which will quite certainly be fixed very soon. It's just a matter of this game being quite near. So, you know, there are some things that will need to be fixed, and some of these that vehicles act a bit weird sometimes. The pathfinding for these vehicles are probably quite complicated. I wouldn't know, but I assume so. So I don't blame the devs on that one, not at all. As you can see, we have some lumber delivery going here, and each of these trucks make 14,000 in each delivery. It costs us around just a little less than 6,000 to drive them here, so each truck will be profitable by a couple thousand every time it gets there, which is why we do want a lot of trucks. These trucks it's a long stretch of road for a rather small truck. We could substitute with this with a train, but we're not going to do that just yet. It will get there, guys, don't you worry. Let's see, do we have a demand actually for tools anywhere? We have a demand over for Laredo here, so we might want to end up actually setting up a train line at some point. For now, we're not going to do it because we can actually deliver it here to Mesa, and we can also set up a bus line there. So I think that will actually be a very nice next move to do. That will complete our, let's just see, how do we solve this in a nice way? There we go, a nice little smooth turn around there, connect that up there, because then we have this entire cargo line fully completed, and that will should in theory get us a good amount of money. Now we can load our trucks here, and the very neat things about it with these end products is, and as long as you just need to unload something, is that we can actually grab this truck unload stop here, and we can place that, plonk that down right there, and now the trucks can unload all of their goods here. So as you can see, when I place this, we can see the demand of each of the buildings, so we know that all of the tool buildings are over here. We actually want to go ahead and move the stop to there, because then we get a catchment on all of the buildings that require tools. All we need to do now is just to get a second bus station in here, and I think we should possibly see if we can just plonk in a train station there, and we can once again make a new line from St. Petersburg to Mesa. So let's see, bus, which is St. Peter to Mesa, and then all we need to do is that and that, and call this tools Mesa. There, that is all set up. The only thing we need now is just, you know, trucks and buses to drive this route. And what would be a better way to get that than to just see that all of our lines here are pretty much becoming profitable, meaning that we don't really have to charge or borrow that more money, much more money, in order to actually buy all of this. I feel like for now, just to speed the process up a little bit here, we're just gonna borrow a little bit of money just a little $1 million and buy our vehicles for that. Now this is St. Peter to Mesa, and then we want, oh, and we have a new truck now. Watch that. The only thing about this is that they are quite a lot more expensive compared to some of the other ones. We do get 40 kilometers an hour instead of 20, so that is also a very nice difference. Should we go ahead and be a little bit of a big spender here? I think we should. So let's get 6 of those trucks, which are Mesa tools, leaving us with 300k. Can we do anything good with those 300k? We can probably extend our bus lines here a little bit. So let's see, do we have any full bus lines right now? We have a few that are struggling a bit. We also have a few that are very full indeed. Cedar Rapids to Memphis. Let's see, why is the reason that some of these are not full? You are very full at the moment. Let's see, how are the other trucks doing? How are the other trucks doing? You are also quite full. As well are you, as well are you. You are as well. And this one is filling up. A bit slow to leave its garage there, but or it's to stop. But that's just fine. So you know what? Let's go ahead and just get a few extra trucks in on that one. Now, is this the correct line? It is the correct line. So let's go ahead, put one in there. And for good measures, our most profitable line at the moment is LA to Laredo. So let's just buy another, just a simple another bus for that one. Set up that one. Yes, please. Thank you. There we go. Now, I kind of want this to just work a little bit here in a mind of its own. Just make us some money, expand a little bit, just get good settled in on these roads before we do anything more. And on these lines, of course, as you can see, the destination's still slowly going up. And the reason that we have all of these destinations is because Los Angeles can get you to there, it can get you there, it can get you to McKinney. From McKinney, you can get on to St. Petersburg, to Mesa. You can go down to here to Colorado Springs. You have so many options with a very, very basic setup here, and that will get you a lot of growth here at the beginning. So a very nice strategy. Oh no, and you see, this is another one of those kind of thingies where you don't really know what to do. I'm right now not really doing anything, but still my camera just decides that it is best for me to definitely be down here. No matter how much I try to combat this, and I still really haven't found a fix. All of a sudden, bam, there it just goes. It stops. It's fixed. Nevertheless, that is the most important thing. Let's see, we have a lot of passengers waiting here with 33 from LA to McKinney. So, you know what, we definitely need more buses there. Let's go ahead and get you and LA, McKinney, which is also one of the things, because this line might not look like it's very profitable. But the thing is, the reason that it's not very profitable is because there is too few buses compared to how many people waiting. So you actually end up losing the cargo that you would otherwise be able to transport because of the fact that you haven't put in enough buses. So let's quickly go ahead and get some more buses into that one because we don't want to risk that. Let's see, do we have a production for tools going? We do indeed. And that means that now, if we go into Mesa here, see, bam, 10 out of 75 supply. All this, and the destination's slowly rising as well because of the fact that if you live in Mesa, you can go to St. Petersburg, blah 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 blah. You know this by now because I told you so. Great, good stuff. I kind of want to get a train line going here because we have so much cargo that we can transport all over this area. Could actually also do a nice little bus route here to Jacksonville, because if we go to Jacksonville, then we can unlock the coal mine to steel mill to Richmond, and go get this iron ore mine, get it down here as well. Then we can start producing some steel. With that steel, we can transport it to the Downey Goods factory, and from the Downey Goods factory, if we supply the one with plastic and steel, we can produce goods. You kind of get the memo by now, don't you? Just how complex this game actually is when you get into it. And can we also just talk about how funky the music is in this game? The music is literally 11 out of 10 for in-game music. The music is so freaking good. It's such catchy, chill music that it's just a joy listening to. We're still piling up on logs here, so you know, we can transport even more. It doesn't matter because we have the money to buy more trucks. I think we're going for a bad choice of trucks here because these trucks are not really the quickest. But for now, logs to Memphis. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And as you can see, we also have a big pile up on lumber. So I think we should maybe just buy a few more trucks for lumber as well. Now, in a case like this, I actually think that the quicker trucks will be worth it. So even though these are more expensive, we can also transport a lot of goods at a lot faster pace. So we are going to go ahead and buy those, and maybe we actually also want to replace some of these vehicles just to get a quicker transport, because the quicker that we can get it here, the quicker we can get it changed into tools, and we will be able to put that into Mesa. And that is one of the things that will help cities grow quite a lot, actually. So it will give you quite a substantial amount of growth. But you know what, guys, I feel like this is a pretty neat time to round off the first episode right here. We have a nice transport empire set up right here. We have a good connection going in this entire area already. We have all of our bus lines set up, which means that we have, and there you go, you see, all lines profitable. All we need to do now is just expand this with more buses. So let's round off the episode here. Nice network already. This is definitely a solid ground for creating a lot of growth in this area, which we will do in the upcoming episode. So I think for the next episode we should probably look at maybe expanding with just a little railway for now. We don't want to make any massive railways because it is very expensive to have railways. This is where we are right now. Thank you so much for tuning into the video, guys. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to drop a subscribe on the channel, because this is some new content, so you might be new to the channel. If you are, welcome. And yeah, to the rest of you and all of you, have an amazing day. Bye bye.